Stop being mean to yourself, because God, that's like a big time, energy consuming thing. And I'd probably tell myself to not wear fake tan.
Really? Were you in
I was so
tan?
orange.
Oh no.
Please don't pull up a picture as you say
Yeah,
that.
it's just on the side of the screen. Yeah.
Inviting that in.
Hi, I'm Ruby Stokes.
I am Jenna Coleman, and we are chatting to Cosmo. Every day?
Had like full-on mother-daughter arguments, you know.
We had good banter like from the start. We did a couple of days rehearsal. We did it, but you were going off to do a play that night. I remember.
Oh my God, yeah.
So you came in the morning, and then you were like straight off back to the theatre.
Theatre. Yeah, we did like a couple of days rehearsal. Went over the scripts.
Yeah.
Went over our scenes.
Yeah.
And yeah, just sort of like built up a rapport on set.
Yeah, I felt like it was like the language was there like straight away, like the kind of the way, the ease in which like the mother-daughter talk to each other. And also it's quite like the unique relationship because they are more kind of like friends and like sisterly.
Closer in age, yeah, definitely.
I got the script when basically Ep 1 was written.
Yeah, you guys were talking about with Liz that you guys sort of were talking about it, and then I went in and met Mary Ali, and then got the job.
I'd love to say I did a lot of detective research, but I really didn't. She kind of has her own method of doing things which are kind of quite wrong as well, so I kind of purposefully didn't, go to cop detective boot camp.
Yeah, equally I just sort of, when we met each other, I sort of based how I would portray her off of that, and I think the fact that they are so similar in age and the way Kat's written it and the sort of conversational tone allowed us to find it in the subtext, our relationship and our dynamic.
And the dynamic of how it shifts between, you know, who's the mother in the scene, who's the daughter in the scene, and that was kind of like just the subtle kind of shifts.
Yeah, the push and pull of it.
Yeah, I feel like this drama in particular is much more, like it's so much more, it's the human relationships, the characters, and that was very much leading it, and I feel like, you know, she was a rookie detective. So I didn't do a lot of the cop research. It took me a while to not feel like I was kind of like playing like Ghostbusters when I was in like the police car. It also was like really low down as well, like trying to like get over the steering wheel.
Did you get to put the sirens on? No, you didn't get to.
No, I never got to put the sirens on, but I just remember on the first day I was like sat in the police car like this with like my badge, and I was like, what am I doing? So it took me a while to kind of like believe myself.
For me, I kept it, just kept it light in a sense of, we'd always have conversations in between takes as well, you know, and then obviously you can sense when someone needs more space or something like that. I
mean, the show obviously there's a lot of heavy, like, in the show, and that it kind of like existed like on the certain edge of our scenes, but it wasn't, I feel like ours was definitely, at least had like the bits of light.
Yeah, totally echo what you say. Always stay true to you and don't change for how you think other people might perceive you and whatnot.
Stop being mean to yourself, because God, that's like a big time, energy consuming thing, and I'd probably tell myself to not wear fake tan.
Really? Were you
I was so orange.
Oh no.
Please don't pull up a picture as you say that.
It's just on the side of the screen. Yeah.
Inviting that in. Obviously, I think reading the script and what's so clever about Kat's scripts is that's what it does. Like it kind of, it provokes you and it asks questions, and it does make you look back in retrospect and kind of like nostalgia and think like, I thought that was okay at the time. Was it okay? And like you have to sit in that really uncomfortable space. And it's almost like again with all of the kind of the girls that we meet in the series, and all of the different characters who are, you know, very much of that kind of coming of age, and at the time they're becoming kind of sexually liberated. I think it's such a interesting, because everyone's so different and each character is so different, each story is so different. So to ask all of those questions and there isn't a uniform answer is one of the things that I really loved about Kat's scripts, because it poses the questions but you have to answer. So I like kind of sitting in that uncomfortable space. I think it will make people look at their own kind of histories. True Detective.
Oh yeah.
Mayor of Easttown. I do love, again, which is what brought me to the Jetty, I think when the cases become a personal case, I think there's something really interesting in that, in kind of like a character study when, you know, the detective isn't purely the detective is connected somehow. Kind of the small town, which is very much like where the Jetty's set. The people that you're investigating are also the people that you grew up with in like the local pub kind of thing. I think that kind of brings like a different dynamic, because it's not just purely detective and victim. It's like a lot more, there's a lot more, the personal costs are like involved a lot more.
Yeah, you know, in Happy Valley you see her with, you know, her sister and her son and you know, all of that going on as well. It's like there's so much more to the relationships.
Yeah, I think it is. It's mixing when the emotional and the detective
comes together. It's not just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
A really brilliant wording. Of our characters?
That we've ever played?
Oh, ever. I did a show called Lockwood & Co, and I think I relate to that character. I just felt like huge kinship to her. You know, like, obviously I hugely relate to Hannah in this as well. You're just being a teenage girl, obviously an incredibly universal experience, going through those motions. So easily like fitted into her puzzle.
I kind of like it when I'm like further away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the further away I am from a character and the more of a leap there is like what I find almost a lot easier. I don't know what that says, but it's almost more challenging, I think, when when it's closer to you and closer to yourself. Yeah. I find that a lot more challenging. I kind of like the ones that are further away, like Queen Victoria. I'm sure there's like strings and elements of yourself that you ultimately pull upon with each character that you're playing. Done a lot of like the kind of brooding, you know, all the emotions are like really internalized thrillers. So I'm kind of like, give me like the Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf moment, like that. I'm definitely craving that kind of thing next. Oh my God, I did a show in Australia called The Cry, and which doesn't sound like a strange exercise, but the director was like, he was like, look, you need to know what it feels like to be a mum. So he was like, I want you to go out and I want you to go shopping for the day with a pram. And I was like, but there's no baby in the pram. And he was like, yeah, I know, but you know, you'll see how people begin to treat you differently, like cars will stop, people move out the way. So the props department gave me a muslin cloth, but it had like really big like prop clips to cover the top of the pram. So I was like walking around Melbourne, really jet lagged as well, because I'd just arrived. And I like went into like what was the equivalent of a Space NK. And then they were like, how old is the baby? And I was like, like a month. And then they were like, and I was buying some cream, they're like, no, that's not the cream you need for breastfeeding. Like you need to buy like the nipple cream, something. So then I bought like nipple cream and I had this entire day. And then in one shop they pulled the muslin cloth and I had to say like, no, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
Come along with this entire story.
Yeah, and then I had to say a director.
Making you sound even more.
Making me sound even more crazy in the fact there was these like massive metal prop clips like on the pram, and I was like, a director's asked me to go, and you know, the more and more as this story's going and as the redder that I am going, like literally retelling it. So that was quite surreal. But a really good exercise, Glendon. Like I learnt a lot, and the nipple cream was great.
Yeah, I've got nothing on that one. The wildest I've done is sort of stunt training, but I imagine that maybe becomes the norm at some point as well.
I went through a phase of being hung upside down a lot. That was like my stunts for a little while. It's quite hard.
Yeah, a lot of like blood just rushing.
Yeah, to your head.
Yeah. Normal. Thanks for watching. Catch the Jetty on BBC.